Hello, what's up, guys? Here is Kilas, and today I will have a very amazing, informative interview with the CEO of Sifchain, Jason Brooks.
Hey, how's it going?
Yeah, Sifchain, the world's first omni-chain decentralized exchange. So, firstly, Jason, you can tell about yourself, who you are.
Yeah, for sure. I am um, a computer scientist and econ guy who spent a bit of time working um, on crypto stuff with other ecosystems. The most notable one being architecture on Thorchain, but I've also done some work for Cosmos and other prominent blockchains. And group of friends and teammates have gotten together to collaborate on development for Sifchain due to our like collective excitement for building omni-chain software. We really just wanted to make sure that we could take some of the cross-chain work we've done in the Cosmos ecosystem and see it all the way through to a decentralized exchange for as many other chains as possible.
So, amazing introduction. So, how I say it, Sifchain is the world's first omni-chain decentralized exchange. So, first question for you is tell us what it means to be omni-chain and why cross-chain compatibility in the blockchain industry will become an expectation, not a future in the near future.
Yeah, I mean, for us, we're seeing a decent amount of cross-chain work, and so I definitely think exchanges or tokens really want this. But I don't really see, a lot of guys going for the omni-chain um, solution. For us, omni-chain means all chains. We don't know if we can quite get all chains, but at the very least, we can get as many chains as possible. We're going from maybe 20 to 25, and then an awesome open source ecosystem in which we can other people can easily add their own chains to connect to us. So yeah, I would say that we think that cross chain compatibility is really just important because like the liquidity that we see in crypto is very fragmented. Every single chain that develops is effectively its own isolated has its own isolated little treasury, right? So you've got your 3 billion on Polkadot and your say couple billion on Definity and your couple billion on say a Bitcoin Cash, right? And so it's fair that each of them have their own little treasury, but like why not allow applications on one of those chains to use liquidity from the other chains, so you can have maybe $9 billion or more worth of activity happen at any given place. Like for us, that really is the ultimate ideal for crypto. When you think about Satoshi's original expectations, I imagine that he was thinking the crypto revolution would be fragmented, with these different isolated fiefdoms, but that people could use the benefits of cryptocurrency across all ecosystems, and like basically everywhere, right? Honestly, like cryptocurrencies are more locked up than fiat, right? I can use my yen or my rubles in America more easily than I can use my Bitcoin or my Litecoin on Ethereum. So I just can't imagine that in the long run, in several years, we won't have some kind of omni-chain solution pooling liquidity together.
That was a very amazing, informative answer. So, now for my audience, it should be interesting. From where comes the name Sifchain? Can you tell me what makes you choose that name?
Yeah, actually, funny story that you're the first person who I explain this to, at least in a recorded context, possibly even non-recorded. This project was originally called Henosis, which means union with God. And I was thinking about it, I was like, you can't really meme that as a concept. And so we were thinking, like, what would it make sense to create as another name? Thorchain, obviously, Thor being a Greek god, we thought, okay, what if we did something similar and or something based on that? And for some reason, it just made sense to go with Sif, who was not as well known. We did a review on Sif, the character, and found her extremely compelling as a Norse goddess. Her archetype is just not exactly something that you've seen in traditional gods, but at the same time feels very relevant for the near term community. And so yeah, so we decided not just when I say near term community, what I mean is like society at large. Like that archetype is definitely something that speaks to a lot of people. So yeah, we thought it just made sense to go with Sif being Thor's wife, and hence Sifchain.
That's nice. So important questions is also about the token. So what is the Sifchain Rowan token, and why should a person want it? Yeah, important question.
Yeah, I mean, the Sifchain token does a few different things. One, it's a staking token, so you can use it with validators, right? As a validator, you can stake it and then earn block rewards. So that's really exciting. You can also get block rewards from delegating to validators if you don't want to host your own. And then you can also use it for voting on chain for various things that will happen for the protocol, much like you would with Compound. And then finally, it's used as a settlement token. So every liquidity pool on Sifchain has a combination of Rowan and some external token, much like Uniswap has ETH and some external token, or Bancor has the Bancor token and some external token. And so every token swap that occurs actually accrues some fees in Rowan that's trade for every trade, and that stuff goes to the liquidity provider. So there are a lot of different things you can do. You can vote with your Rowan, you can use the pools, you can use it for pools, and you can also stake it.
Yeah, that's right. Staking is a big topic in these times. So I'm using many tokens also for staking. So open source developers can work on many things, right? So why should they work on Sifchain?
Yeah, I mean, I'd say Sifchain is one of the best, like most focused open source projects in terms of like just being open source, right? We've done a lot of collabing with UC Davis lab that is focused on open source development. Still need to do, I'd say, deeper dives, but we've learned a lot from them already in terms of their focus on other open source projects like Linux or Wikipedia or the like. The guys Seth Frey and Vlad who run that lab have really been helpful in just thinking about open source from first principles. And I don't think a lot of other projects can speak to that. Beyond that, we're really interested in like the decentralized ethos that's very similar to open source. In that we look at things like the Quetzal legal. We look at the Quetzal legal open source sort of framework for how decentralized an ecosystem can get, and like try to make sure we're as decentralized as possible. So things like that, I'd say really make us stand out in comparison to other projects. If you're really serious about the open source decentralized ethos of cryptocurrency, you should definitely consider us.
Good. So how you guys know, I recorded many videos about decentralized exchanges. So there are many decentralized exchanges, right? So what makes Sifchain different?
Yeah, I would say there are really no other exchanges that do limit orders and margin trading. There are, and also AMMs. I think we're the only ones I've come across that do all three as a decentralized exchange. I would also say that we are one of the only ones with any cross-chain liquidity, and definitely the only ones going for as much cross-chain liquidity as we're going for. So there's that, and um, yeah, and then I would say that we're extremely highly performant, right? Like most decentralized exchanges are on Ethereum, and frankly, if you're gonna have a performance conversation between Ethereum and Cosmos projects, it's like really no contest. We're 100x more efficient, and so I'd say those are the things that make Sifchain different.
Good. So how I check it, the roadmap of Sifchain. So I saw it's planned in Q4 2020 IBC protocol. So the question is, what is the special relationship between Cosmos and Sifchain particularly around PEGI and the inter-blockchain communication protocol?
Yeah, I mean, we've spent a lot of time collaborating with Cosmos well before we worked on Sifchain, particularly on PEGI. We got a couple of grants from the Interchain Foundation to build that. And so, we knew the power of the technology, and we're really, one of the best teams positioned to implement it. And then I'd say for inter-blockchain communication, I mean, we've been watching that protocol under development for quite some time. And we knew that, the entire Cosmos community was looking for, uh, was looking for a way to get that liquidity from Ethereum, not just on Cosmos, but not just for any arbitrary Cosmos token like or chain like the Cosmos Hub, but also on other chains like Kava and Akash and Terra and these other ones. And so we built Sifchain with the idea that we would use IBC to move pegged tokens around across a variety of Cosmos SDK blockchains.
Mm-hmm. Good. So, how I check it also on roadmap, we have something like SIFDAO for governance. So, why do you believe in decentralized autonomous organizations? So, DAO. What makes a DAO the ideal way to build an organization and make it sustainable?
So I think that a decentralized autonomous organization is not necessarily the best way to run any arbitrary org, but it does do a lot that centralized organizations just can't do. Particularly when you look at like official organizations where there's a lot of red tape and the like. So I'd say that we believe in them just as an alternative to what we already have, because with crypto you can essentially build a lot of your own rules and structure yourself in a way that isn't necessarily as hierarchical and doesn't adhere to some of the standard hierarchies that already exist inherently in a lot of centralized organizations. A DAO is really the ideal way, I think, to build a lot of organizations where you're ending up with something new and you just want to harness the power of people's opinions and spirits, as opposed to where they may not be aligned on many other things, but they are clearly aligned on one issue, and they can enter use their particular skills to bring something together, but may not be able to coordinate effectively otherwise. I'd say the way to build it and make it sustainable, we're not entirely sure ourselves. We've seen a couple of great DAOs, the Synthetics guys, the Compound guys, the Wi-Fi guys. Like, they've definitely implemented some really great decentralized autonomous organizations. But there are it's still this whole concept is still in its infancy. We looked at groups like MetaGov and others like DAOstack to really learn best practices from DAOs, and hopefully over time, a SIFDAO can stand the test of time.
Mm-hmm. Good. So, how we know now, Sifchain is the future of DeFi. So, but I have a question for you. So, do you have an opinion about Polkadot? What do you think about this one?
We think Polkadot is really awesome. A lot of our engineers have done some really cool stuff with Polkadot. And we expect to do more in the future. We want to do 20 to 25 pegs for different chains. Polkadot is certainly an appealing chain to be one of those pegs.
Mm-hmm. Perfect. So, which projects in the industry are you inspired by? So, what do you think has worked in the past, and what are some notable failures that Sifchain learned from?
So I'd say we mentioned Wi-Fi and Compound and Synthetics, and so we're definitely inspired by those. I'd say beyond that, we really like Pickle. It's unfortunate that they've been hacked. It's definitely a notable failure that we're learning from in terms of our own security. But that was a really cool project. Just come up with a really simple crypto economic design, build it, deploy it, then iterate. We thought that was really solid. Other projects, we really like a lot of the stuff in the NFT space and the gaming space. It's not something we actively work on, But you know, it is really interesting, and so yeah, I'd say inside and outside of DeFi, that's really what we're inspired by.
So now, big topic is like about partners. So so on the homepage we can see many partners and investors like Cosmos, Wings. So I know many projects of that. So how do the partners with other exchanges and what benefits do end users enjoy as a result?
Yeah, I mean, we don't have anything to really announce directly, although we do think that CDFI, the connection between centralized and decentralized exchanges, is huge. And yeah, we think that you know that basically provides additional liquidity and additional trading volume for centralized and decentralized exchanges, and so we can definitely see you know benefits for end users as a result.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. And what does an ideal future look like for your team at Sifcore?
I'd say, you know, it's really about integration with the DAO. Sifcore has grown pretty dramatically over the past couple of months, and the community for Sifchain has as well. The future is really about turning over a lot of the work that the Sifcore team does to SifDAO, and then having Sifcore just be one of many organizations that are contributing to the well-being of Sifchain.
Yeah. Okay, so how I say it, Sifchain is the future of the DeFi, right, J0?
Yeah, I would definitely say so.
Yeah, and yeah, you can receive many informations. So you will have in the description links to the Telegram, Twitter, Medium. So you can follow many news about Sifchain. And yeah, I think that was very informative interview. Jerzer, I forget about it. I forget about something. You have to add something, maybe, for my audience.
Yeah, I mean, look, it's just great that you've listened. We really appreciate it and hope that you join us on our social media on Telegram, Discord, Twitter, and stay tuned for info on the token sale.
So, thank you. That was a very amazing interview. I say it. So, really informative. So, people let a comment under the interview. So, and tell your opinion about Sifchain. So, with me was here today Jersey Brooks.
All right, good chatting with you.
Yeah. So, thank you for watching, and maybe we'll make in next time a very amazing review video about Sifchain. So, thank you and bye.
Bye bye.